misconception of Darwin's theory.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was been discussed in the first session.
Okay, thank you, Praveen Prabhu. I think you covered some of the points were related to other sessions also, but that is good. We other peoples will keep on adding to that. So yeah, in the first session, we saw can a scientist believe in God and does God really exist? So that is the question which we try to answer to ourselves and to all the participants, and we try to understood how scientifically we can understand the existence of God. Okay, that was primarily the focus area or the summary focal point of the first session. And in that, we learned these things. Design implied a designer, every creation implies a creator, every organization implies an organizer, artist, every artistry implies an artist, every law implies a lawmaker, and energy implies energetic, right? So all these things we learned, and that's why we were able to relate that okay, everything needs a creator, organizer, designer, etc. So similarly for this world also, we need someone like who has designed, created, and maintaining it, right? So that's why I think we established our understanding firmly that God is there and God is the creator and designer, maintainer, everything for this particular world. Okay. So somebody can, let's say, Tushar Prabhu, can you attempt for the session 2? What did we learn in session 2? Tushar Prabhu, if you are speaking on mute, maybe you can unmute and then speak. Okay. Shashikant Prabhu, would you like to try? Haribol, is my voice audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu. So, yeah, today's topic is not going to take long. So, I thought that we'll spend some time in, I think, summarizing and this thing. Okay, so Money Deep, can you please
Yes,
try?
Prabhuji.
What did we learn in session 2?
Sorry, sir. This is the first session I'm attending now.
Okay, no problems. So, who else do we have? So, how to see the different participants? This one. This one. Okay. Okay, we have Deepu Prabhu. So, Deepu Prabhu, would you like to mention about the session number 2? What did we
Uh,
learn?
yeah, good morning, Prabhuji. Actually,
Good.
I joined from the last session, but
Okay, Prabhu.
I would like recall that there were some points related to Pratyaksha Praman, Anuman Praman, and knowledge from authority. So I guess was it in the second session or the third session,
Yeah,
Prabhuji?
second session. You are right, Prabhu.
Yeah, just I had a summary of it in the last session.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever knowledge from the Vedas is there, which is coming to us since ages. So that is of is transferred to us in three types. So what we see, we believe it through our senses. So that is known as Pratyaksha Praman. And based on reading and based on our inquisitive thinking abilities, whatever we think of a particular thing, of a particular problem, is what we can say as Anuman Praman. And the knowledge that is of prime importance that we gain from our higher authorities is known as the ultimate knowledge, because that is what is coming from the Guru and Shishya Parampara. That is authoritative Praman.
Yes, Prabhu.
And whatever we are able to make up of a particular problem is imperfect because of our blunt senses. And there is illusion always in front of us related to a particular thing. So we're not able to give our best to analyze a particular problem. And often, because of that, we commit mistakes. And this is what I could summarize from the second lecture.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. I think even if you have not joined the second chapter, you have very in a proper way you have summarized what was covered into second section. So thanks a lot for your attention and I think remembering the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank
I think as we said, as Tipu Prabhu said that. This was the analogy which was discussed, that how we can understand any particular thing. So basically everyone has its own perspective, and if you try to understand God specifically, everyone has its own point of view and things like that. And that is the reason is, as Prabhu said, that there are three ways of gaining knowledge: pratyaksha, praman, direct sense perception. Whatever we see, that we see or we experience is what we understand, and we gain knowledge out of it. Second is Anuman Praman. So theory is based on the perception. So somebody speculates here. That's where that's Darwin's theory comes as an example again, or any science theorem, etc. That comes. So that is based on some kind of perception or assumptions. So that is Anuman Praman. And third is Shabda Praman, which is hearing of bona fide authority. And it was discussed that this is the most important and most proper way of understanding the things. So it's not that Pratyaksha Anuman is not something which basically we should not learn from, but that is not the only thing, and we should really we cannot learn everything from Pratyaksha and Anuman, right? So therefore, Shabda Praman is of utmost importance. So Shabda Praman is nothing but the words of wisdom which are coming from different scriptures, and which are therefore like that is most important. And Prabhuji also talked about the defects part. So we have 4 defects because of which we are not perfect, and that's the reason why we cannot understand this world. We cannot understand God and the things made by God in a complete way. So we need to accept this fact, and once we accept this fact, then only we will be open to understand the philosophy or whatever I think God and other acharyas are there to teach us. So we have imperfect senses. We always get illusioned, right? And we commit mistakes. And we also have cheating propensity. Every one of us has a cheating propensity. Even if not to others, we keep on cheating ourselves for sure by making this or the other excuse, right? So that is a natural thing. Like it's a defect which we have. Every one of us has. And then we come to the session number 3. So who can talk about it? Sumit Prabhu, would you like to mention anything about session 3? What did we learn in session 3? Okay, Swapnil Prabhu, Swapnil Kakade Prabhu. Yogendra Prabhu. Okay, maybe you, some of you are shy, so no problems. We'll proceed. And Akshay Prabhu, would you like to add from your side?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So since the fourth session was science of soul, so it was regarding the basic.
Third session first. Third session.
Third session was the Vedas, the privilege of humanity. Since we are from last almost 10 to 20 years, we are having Vedas in our daily life, but we still don't know about their benefits. So what exactly Vedas told us in our history, and how we can learn from Vedas. So it was all about included in this session.
Yes, Prabhu.
So where we have understood this Vedic wisdom came down disciple succession through through our Guru Parampara. Like, for example, if I have studied 1 plus 1 equal to 2, so this has taught by my teacher. But if we question to our teacher that who will taught this, then he will say this taught by my teacher. So like that, our Vedic knowledge has we have gained from our gurus, and our gurus has gained from the chain of all the gurus. So this Vedic knowledge has directly coming from Krishna, then it came to Brahmadev, then through Narad Muni, and through various gurus. And since we are so lucky that we got this knowledge from Swami Srila Prabhupada, and now we are getting the Vedic wisdom.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, and thank you, Akshay Prabhu. Thanks for giving the summary. And we also learned that this is also called as infallible wisdom, and the reason is that means it is never changed, it is never disproved, and it has stood the test of the time, right? So therefore, as we were talking about Shabda Praman, the Shabda Praman is correlating to this Vedic wisdom which we have, and which has the truth which never changes, as compared to some other mundane or basically man-made topics on man-made theories which keep on changing based on our experiences, right? So unlike the man-made theories, the information or the knowledge which is there coming from the Vedas is something which never changes, because it is coming directly from the Lord. So that is also we try to understand. And yeah, initially Prabhuji tried to cover that humans are having special things. So and we also learned about that there are common activities between human and animals: eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. Every creature does it, but what does human do, or what can human do? So I think human can make inquiries about life and death, right? Only human can ask these kind of questions. Only human has this kind of intelligence to inquire for his or her own existence. So who am I? Who is God? Where from did I come? All these questions, important questions, only human can ask. And the reverse way is that if we have got the human life, then it is important that we should be really asking these questions and not only get satisfied with these 4 things: eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending, which even animals can also do, right? That's what we learned as well into the 3rd session. And then we also learned about what are the real problems. The real problems are which are common to all, and no one wants them, and no one can avoid it. So what are the real problems? We have birth, death, old age, and disease. So these are 4 real problems which nobody can avoid, right? And basically no one wants it, and these are common to everyone. Everyone has to go through all these things. That's also we learned. And then in the last session we learned about the science of soul. Deepu Prabhu briefly touched this. So who am I? And in that we learned that we are not these bodies, we are spirit souls, right? And we also learned there was an analogy which was discussed, that car and human. So just as car cannot move without a driver, the body cannot function without the soul. So if soul is not there, body is useless. Similarly, if the driver is not there, there is no use of a car. That kind of analogy. And we also learned about the presence of consciousness, how we can understand the presence of consciousness. चेतना, हमारे शरीर में चेतना कैसा है, इस बारे में हमने बात की थी, इसको हम कैसे समझ सकते हैं. Then we talked about near death experience, past life memories, पुनर्जन्म के बारे में हमने बात की थी, right? और then gross body कैसे बनता, मतलब शरीर कैसे बनता है, तो अर्थ, वाटर, फायर, एयर एंड ईथर. सो हमने पंच महाभूतों की बात की थी, राइट? भूमि, रापो, नलो, वायु, इसकी बात की थी. एंड सटल बॉडी, सो जो सूक्ष्म शरीर है इसकी बात की थी. माइंड, इंटेलिजेंस एंड ईगो, बुद्धि, मन, बुद्धि एवं अहंकार, इससे हमारा सूक्ष्म शरीर बनता है. तो स्थूल शरीर और सूक्ष्म शरीर की हमने बात की थी. और हमने उस समय ये भी देखा था कि कैसे बर्थ में, मतलब जन्म होता है तब क्या होता है, मृत्यु होती है तब क्या होता है, ये भी हमने बात की थी. फिर सोल के बारे में मतलब आत्मा के बारे में बताया था कि सोल इज इनडिस्ट्रक्टिबल, इंडिविजुअल, इटर्नल, इनकंसीवेबल। सो सच्चिदानंद है वो, हमने इस बारे में बात की थी। आत्मा जो है वो सच्चिदानंद है। सोल इज सिचुएटेड इन रीजन ऑफ हार्ट, सो हृदय में स्थित है, इसके बारे में बात की थी। सोल इज नॉट फॉर्मलेस, राइट, उसका एक स्वतः का स्वरूप है, मतलब ये एक स्वरूप विहीन नहीं है, इसके बारे में हमने बात की थी। और सोल लीव्स वन बॉडी एंड गोज टू अनदर डेथ, हमने कैसे आत्मा का आवागमन एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में होता है, इसके बारे में बात की थी। जब कोई इंसान बच्चे से बड़ा होता है, बूढ़ा होता है, तब तक भी आत्मा वही रहती है, बट उसका शरीर बदलता रहता है, ये भी हमने बात की थी, राइट। और फिर आत्मा का साइज, मतलब कैसे वो अति सूक्ष्म है, और हम उसको अपने प्रत्यक्ष मतलब जैसे हम प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण वाली बात कर रहे थे, उससे हम समझ नहीं सकते हैं, बट जो स्क्रिप्चर में उसका बताया गया है, मुंडक उपनिषद के बारे में बात की थी, और भगवद गीता में भी आत्मा के स्वरूप के बारे में बताया गया है कि वो कितना सूक्ष्म है। तो ये सब चीजें हमने लास्ट टाइम कवर किया था। तो अब हम we can start the today's session which is substance and shadow. Before we start, anybody has any question or comment? I think some people have joined it for the first time, so I hope this quick summary would have helped establishing some like a high level understanding of what we covered so far. So any questions from the people who have joined new before we start with the next session?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
When we talk about soul, then how mind and soul both act differently, but can those be kept focus on one particular thing for a long time? Because see, many a times we start with one thing with whole focus, but mind goes in different direction and soul doesn't allow, or soul doesn't give works in a different way, like that.
प्रभु जी, अगर आपको याद हो तो लास्ट टाइम हमने डिस्कशन किया था कि जो सूक्ष्म शरीर के बारे में हमने बात की थी, राइट, सूक्ष्म शरीर के बारे में बात की थी, जिसमें हमने ये आत्मा जो है वो कैसे कवर हो रही है, मतलब इस शरीर में आत्मा किस तरीके से, थोड़ा करेक्ट करना चाहूंगा कि मन और आत्मा, ठीक है, ये एक दूसरे के, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि मन एक डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है और आत्मा दूसरे डायरेक्शन में जा रही है, ऐसा नहीं है। लास्ट टाइम भी बात की, वो अमर है, राइट, द सोल इज इटर्नल, बट द बॉडी इट कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग द बॉडी, राइट. So during some discussion last time, we also understood that why this transmigration is happening, correct? So we also talked about the fact that और I think इस आज के सेशन में भी वो चीज कवर होगी कि ये जो जीवन है, राइट, ये संसार जो है उसको एक जेल से कंपेयर कर सकते हैं, राइट. So we have come here to enjoy separately from the Lord. Okay, this point we will cover in details today. But like last time we had established this understanding कि हम जो है इस जगह पे आए हैं क्योंकि हम लोग